Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we are doing a unit review video. If you don't know what this is the series where you guys send me your best Genshin Impact units and I rate them on a scale of 1 to 10 to determine who has the best Genshin Impact unit. Before we get into that though, if you would like an opportunity to get your own unit reviewed, all you have to do is go to my Discord, link in the description below. There is a channel in the Discord that is titled #UnitReview. In that channel will be instructions on how you can submit your own character for review. With that all wrapped up, let's get into the video. First up here we have Demx, and they wanted me to review their Zhao. Let's see here. Level 90 Zhao. 1800 attack, 0 EM. Wow, not a single EM roll? That's kind of shocking. You don't really need EM on Zhao. It's just kind of surprising that you have absolutely 0 of it. Weapon, Primordial Jade Winged Spear. Very good choice for him. You got it Refinement 2. Maybe just a slight bit of a whale then, or you just got lucky. Artifacts, 2-piece Glad, 2-piece Viridescent. Great choice. I don't think it's his best in slot, but it's definitely a doable set. Constellation 0. Okay, so not a whale then. We can establish that as a fact if you do not have a C6. And talents are 8, 10, 10. Just missing the 10 on the normal attack. And then besides that, pretty damn good talents. Let's see some of these artifacts. What pieces are we working with here? That's a really good feather. 26 crit damage, 5 crit rate. Low rolls, but it's still a good piece. 1 defense percent. The sands. Wow, another really good piece. ER. Ooh. Don't know how we feel about ER. You really prefer attack percent for Zhao unless you're not running him with Animo support. If you're not running him with Animo support, then I guess this is a decent piece. It does have really good crit values, but I'm not sure if it's worth losing out on that much attack percent. Mad choice, but it's a good piece nonetheless. The goblet, Animo damage, a crazy Animo damage goblet. My goodness, that's 3 crit damage rolls, 1 crit rate. 1 to flat stats, but that's okay. Other than that, God Goblet. The hat. Yeah, really good hat. Attack percent, energy recharge, crit rate, 2 crit rate, 1 recharge, 1 HP. Not a bad piece at all. And the flower. Probably the worst piece in terms of crit stats out of the 5 pieces, but this is still a good piece nonetheless. I mean, you'd always appreciate more attack on your Zhao. I mean, Zhao really does scale a lot with attack, so the more attack, the better. And you also got some crit rate, some crit damage, just to top it off. Let's see that split. 83-207, that's a really good split. 164 recharge, which is because of that recharge chance, which I don't know if I 100% agree with that choice, but, you know, if you're struggling with getting his burst back up on cooldown, it may help in that regard. And then you also have 61% ammo damage bonus. I mean, honestly, your Zhao doesn't suffer that much from low attack. You do have 1800, which is because of the Jade Winged Spear's crazy high base attack, plus this passive effect right here is really good and will also help you get more attack. But I still think even with all that attack stance may be a little more optimal here unless you're not using him with Animo support. If you're not using him with Animo support like Jean, Sucrose, Coswell, etc., then I think this is actually a pretty good option for him. Besides that, I don't have too many critiques about your build. It's a very, very solid Zhao build. The only other thing that you'd be missing for a perfect 10 would be the level 10 talent, which is needed for a perfect 10 out of 10 build. But all around, still a really good Zhao. I'm going to give you a solid 9 out of 10. Let's move on to the next build. Next up here, we have Merca, and they wanted me to review their Eula. Let's see here. Level 90 Eula. 1900 attack, 37 EM, not too shabby. You got 1 little EM roll there. Weapon is going to be the Prototype Archaic. A bit of an awkward choice, but this person did state that they were free to play, so I don't think this is actually a bad option. Obviously, for a more optimal Eula, you'd probably want something like her best in slot weapon, which I cannot remember the name of for the life of me. You know the one I'm talking about, the physical one. And then also Serpent's Spine is another good option, which is a battle pass weapon. But if you're free to play, I do not think this is actually a bad choice at all. Plus, you put a lot of investment into it, getting it R5 just for Eula. So honestly, I respect it. I respect this weapon. It's not a bad choice. Artifacts, 4-piece Pale Flame. Great choice. I believe that is her best in slot set. Constellation is going to be 0, and talents are 10, 10, 10. That is what we like to see. So far, I would say this is a perfect Eula. The weapon choice may be a little bit unoptimal, but for free to play, we'll let it slide. So we're going to say this is a perfect 10 so far. but it's going to come down to the artifacts. Let's see what we're working with here. The sands. Wow, that's a really good sands. 32 crit damage. Oh my goodness, that's a good sands. That's really nice. The goblet? Yeah, I mean, it was on set. We gotta cut him some slack for that. I mean, it was an on-set goblet. It's kind of hard to get really good on-set goblets. I mean, 3 crit damage rolls is nothing to laugh at, but the other 3 stats are really dead. Not the best piece in the world, not the worst either. So far, a lot of crit damage. I'm kind of worried about your crit rate here. I assume you're probably running crit rate mask. You are. Great choice. A really good crit rate mask, too. That's really, really good. 28 crit damage, 1 flat defense roll. Yeah, that's a really nice mask. Wow. This is crazy. This is a 47, 48 CV piece. My goodness, that's a good flower. Your pieces are pretty nutty. Okay, the feather, the final piece. What? What? There's no way. This is the perfect feather. This is the perfect feather. You can't get better than this. Energy recharge attack, 6 crit rate, 37 crit damage. How could you possibly get better than this? I think that's like the best crit ratio I've ever seen on a piece. My goodness, that is definitely above 50. Holy smokes, man. That is crazy. Crazy, crazy pieces here. Wow. What's the split gonna be? It's gonna be absolutely insane. 56 to 37. Yeah. I mean, the crit rate is a little low. But for the amount of crit damage you have, my goodness, that's a lot of crit damage. You have above 24 on each piece. Your lowest crit damage on all these pieces was the goblet having 24. Besides that, everything has above 25. That is incredible. I don't think I've ever seen a better Eula than this. And with cryo resonance, you can get even more crit rate. Yeah, I mean, this is just great. Obviously, in a more optimal build, you would probably want a little more crit rate, like getting this up to 70, I would say. I can't give you a perfect score, even though these artifacts are absolutely insane, and your talents are insane, and your weapon is pretty good. Just because of this piece, it's decent for on set, but it kind of loses you that perfect 10 out of 10. But I think other than that, you have a pretty damn good build. I'm going to say this Eula is a 9.8 out of 10. Let's move on to the next build. Next up here, we have Mendy, and they wanted me to review their Yanfei. Level 90 Yanfei. Only character on profile, so I imagine it's probably pretty good. Yanfei main, I assume? But we've seen some pretty good Yanfeis in this series. I wonder if this one will be much better. Let's see what we're working with here. Weapon. The Woodsith, great choice. Believe it's our best in slot. Preferably would want to see higher refinement, but, you know, it's alright. Artifacts. 4-piece Crimson Witch, great choice. I think Wanderers is another good choice, but Crimson Witch works just as fine. Constellation, let's see. C5, missing that C6. That's okay, though. Maybe a bit more of a whale thing. But I don't remember what Yanfei C6 even does, so I won't comment on it too much. And then talents are 8, 11, 11, which I think comes out to 8, 8, 8, which is pretty good. Not too bad at all. Preferably if you're a Yanfei main, I'd say you probably want that 10, 10, 10. But you know what? Not bad talents. Let's take a look at some of the pieces here. Wow. Great piece to start us off. That's 38 crit value. Plus EM. Awesome. Another really good piece. 12 energy recharge, 6 crit rate, 21 crit damage. Flat HP rolls unfortunate. Other than that, great piece. Attack percent Sands with 12 crit damage, 13 crit rate. Great piece. You avoided those flat stats. Congrats. Let's see the goblet. Ooh, this piece fell off a little bit. Oh my goodness, this piece fell off. Ugh, this is an off piece too. Wow. 15 attack, 14 crit damage, 11 recharge. Yeah, definitely not the best piece I've ever seen in the world. It's not terrible. I mean, it probably does the job, but preferably you want more crit rate, crit damage, and less attack and recharge. And the last piece is going to be the hat. Not terrible. I mean, it's not great either, though. 2 crit damage and then 3 dead stats is not the best in the world. But you know what? I think it probably does the job for your account. Let's see this split. 66, 190? Not terrible. You know what? I think this does just fine. 123 recharge, 85 pyro damage bonus, and you also have 1500 attack. But yeah, all around a pretty decent Yanfei. I do think Woodsith is probably carrying your crit damage by a little bit. I would like to see definitely a better goblet would be my first priority. And then also getting those 10, 10, 10 talents if you are going to main this character. You can upgrade all of Yanfei's talents pretty comfortably, and I do recommend doing that because she's one of the only characters in the game that you can comfortably do that on and know that every talent is worth it. Overall though, really solid Yanfei, besides maybe that goblet, so I'm going to give you a solid 8 out of 10. Let's move on to the next build. Next up here we have Danny, and they wanted me to review their Mona Majestus. I think this is the first Mona we've done on the series. I see you've got the new skin on. Great choice. I love this new skin for her. I think it's really aesthetically pleasing. And you know what else is aesthetically pleasing is that full straight 1000 attack. I rate that right on the dot. Just 1000. I appreciate that. Weapon, Widsith, great choice. R5 Widsith too. That's what we like to see. Artifacts? What? No. No, you're not playing around with builds right now. Oh, I'm so sad when people do this because when people are playing around with builds, sometimes you're missing a feather and you put it on somebody else and you just forgot. And then I end up reviewing your character and now you're missing a feather. It's so sad, but we'll pretend like a feather's there and it's not going to impact the rating. Constellation 0. And then talents are 9, 8, 10. 9 on the normal attack is a bit of an odd choice unless you're going main DPS Mona, which really is only functional at Constellation 2. But I guess if you're a Mona main, hey, why not? You did crown the right talent though. I don't recommend crowning her normal attack unless you really want to prioritize that. But let's see some of these artifacts. We're going to be skipping the feather. We're going to pretend it's a Noblesse feather. And that you have the 2-piece Noblesse, 2-piece Heart of Depth. And we're just going to say it's an average 30 crit value piece, just to balance it out a little bit. Other than that, let's see the flower. Not bad, not great. It sits somewhere in the middle there. 31 at flat attack, 5% HP, but then you also got the crit rate, crit damage on there. Averages out to about 30 crit value, so it's not terrible. The mask, 62 crit damage, 21 attack percent. My goodness, that's a nasty attack percent piece. 7 crit rate and then 5 recharge. Not terrible. Not the greatest piece ever though. I think probably more preferably you'd want a little more crit rate on there. And then the goblet. Not bad. Not great though. Kind of a middle piece. And energy recharge is pretty important on Mona. So is crit rate, crit damage. But that flat defense, preferably you'd not want it there. And then the last thing is going to be the sands, which is pretty good. I do think energy recharge is important for Mona. And you got some crit damage, some crit rate on there. A little bit of flat defense, which is kind of unfortunate. But overall, it's a decent piece. Let's see the split. 31 to 15. Oh, that's rough. I mean, maybe if you're just using her for her bubble, then that'd be okay. You got 200 recharge, almost exactly again. You got very even stats on this Mona. Even if you did have a feather on her and it was like max, I would say 10 crit rate, that would only bring you up to 41. So I would definitely recommend running crit rate mask, especially since you have Widsith on her anyways. But overall, I mean, not a terrible Mona. You are obviously missing a piece, which we're not going to let affect our rating. You do have a really good weapon. You have some pretty good talents. The artifacts are the only thing I see lacking here, but overall, not a terrible Mona. I'm going to give you a solid 8 out of 10 for this build. Let's move on to the next unit. Next up, we have Soli, who has the honorary Raiden of the video. I seem to be reviewing at least one Raiden in every video, it feels like, but you know what? I don't mind that. The Raiden Shogun is a pretty cool unit. Let's see some of the stats here. So you got 1700 attack, 21 EM. Very good. Your weapon is going to be the Catch R5. That is awesome. Good to see. Best in slot. Artifacts are going to be 5-piece emblem. You can get rid of the piece if you need to. Sub one out. Maybe get a couple better stats on there. Constellation is going to be 0. No C2. And then talents are going to be 6, 8, 10. Fortunately, this person did make the mistake of leveling up the normal attack, which is a little unfortunate, but we'll let it slide for right now. Let's see some of these artifacts. So, the feather. Wow, really good feather. Yeah, 10 energy recharge, 20 crit damage. Flat HP roll is a little unfortunate, but other than that, really, really good piece. Sands. Definitely could be improved. I mean, 43 flat attack isn't great, but you did get a little bit of crit rate on there, which I guess makes up for it. You also do have the option of running attack percent sands, as you are running the catch, which already gives a lot of energy recharge as is. Plus, you get an extra 20 energy recharge just from the Emblem of Severed Fate set. So you don't necessarily need to run energy recharge Cheyennes, but if you feel it's necessary, then go ahead. The Goblet. Oh, you do have attack percent Goblet actually, which I feel like was the right choice for this build because you get all of the electro damage bonus from her passive talent. Plus, you also get more burst damage off of the 4-piece set. I think attack percent was the right choice here. And plus, you have a good crit split on this piece. So I would say overall, great piece. The hat. Oh my gosh. Why do people have these pieces? 33 crit damage, 31 crit rate. Your crit damage is outscaling your crit rate. That is a nasty piece. If that flat HP roll was a 7.8 into crit damage, you could be looking at a 40 crit damage hat. Crazy. And the flower, absolutely nuts. Not as great as the hat, but still a damn good piece. Overall, these are some really good pieces. Let's see the split. 59, 152, not terrible considering you're running the catch, and I don't believe Raiden scales with any crit stats, so this is pretty good for his support. 260 recharge is really nice, and then no electro damage bonus, so that's because she's not on field right now, and she would need to be on field to see that stat. 1700 attack is also really good. Your crit damage crit rate ratio is really good considering you have the catch, which gives you an extra 12, bringing you up to 70, 150, which is pretty even. Some of these pieces can definitely be improved, especially the Sands. I'd say was the piece that can be most improved out of all these pieces. But other than the Sands, I mean, these are all really good pieces. I would say overall, your Raiden is at least a solid 9 out of 10. Let's move on to the next build. And the last build we're going to review for today is Dark, and they want us to review their Diluc. Level 90 Diluc. 2700 attack. I assume that probably means Wolf's Gravestone. Damn straight it does. That is a crazy weapon. Artifacts, 2-piece Glad, 2-piece Crimson Witch. Not a bad choice at all. I think 4-piece Crimson is a little bit better, but you can't always justify the substats to get that 4-piece set. Constellation is going to be 1. Probably just lost a 50-50. And talents are 9, 10, 10. Still waiting on that crown for the normal attack. That's okay. Let's see some of the artifacts here. Crit damage hat is going to be 62 crit damage, 10% crit rate, 40 EM, 5 attack. Great piece. Goblet. This one could definitely be improved. For being an off piece, it's pretty bad. I mean, 1 crit damage roll. I think that's 2 flat attack rolls and 1 flat HP. That's rough, man. I'm sorry. Hopefully you get a better goblet. I know goblets can be hard to get. The Sands. Ooh. Oh, this is such a sad piece. Oh, this is so sad. 74 flat attack, and you missed all the good stats. I'm sorry. This piece is so sad. Oh, no. Well, hopefully the flower and the feather make up for it. Oh, my gosh, bro. These pieces just get sadder and sadder. Min crit damage, 2 defense percent, 2 crit rate. I mean, it's not terrible. It's better than the last piece. And the flower? That's pretty nice. 20 crit damage, 7 crit rate. 2 HP rolls is still a little sad, but it's a decent piece. What's your split? 59, 162. You know what? Because you have Wolf's Gravestone, we'll allow it. We'll say it's not terrible. I mean, that crit rate can definitely be the slightest bit higher. So same thing with crit damage. Energy recharge, not as important on Diluc, and you got a little bit of pyro damage bonus. Not a bad Diluc at all. Definitely some artifact improving you need to do. I mean, some of these pieces just, I don't think will cut it late game. But I think this person was AR 56, so you are still pretty early game. So for where you are right now, these pieces actually aren't terrible. I say you probably keep them just until you get anything better. But I can definitely see a lot of improvement that can come for your Diluc in the future if you put the correct investment into them. But for right now, I'm going to give this Diluc a solid 8 out of 10. And with that all wrapped up, that is going to be the end of our video for today. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see more in the future, please consider subscribing or leaving a like down below. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.